Welcome to the August 2024 Marketing Town Hall webinar. I'm your host, Jeremy Diouf. Very excited to host this one. Again, this month we do these monthly, answering your questions around marketing, automation, AI, branding, ads, um, a lot of topics, even sales too. In this webinar, we have a couple pre-submitted questions that we're going to go through. But if you are in attendance and you have any questions, feel free to submit it in the Q&A chat. Um, I am your host, Jeremy. As mentioned, I'm the co-founder of Synergy Reach. We are a lead generation marketing agency in the East Coast, and I am thrilled to be helping Marstudio in hosting this webinar. Um, You'll be hearing from Chevy shortly, but first I would like to go over the rules of engagement related to this webinar. Give me a second to share my screen. Yeah. So, rules of engagement for the webinar. Firstly, raise your hand if you have any questions. And if you raise your hand, that actually indicates that you want to be brought on as a panelist with your video on to chat with us, where Chevy will be answering your question. If you don't want to get on video, no worries. You can always type your question in the Q&A chat. Feel free to introduce yourself, your name, position, company name, and industry. Please keep your questions about 30 seconds or less, and feel free to ask follow-up questions if you have them. Uh, Please refrain from interrupting or adding your own comments when questions are asked. And that leads to the next point. We want to maintain a distraction-free webinar, so please remain muted if you're not engaged in conversation. If you have problems muting yourself, I can help you with that. Please refrain from self-promotion. We keep this as valuable as possible. We may remove an attendee if they end up doing a lot of self-promotion. Now, uh, I am thrilled to go ahead and introduce Chevy Shafi, who will be answering the town hall questions tonight. Welcome to the webinar, Chevy.
Thank you, buddy. Good to be here with
Uh,
everybody.
there we go. Chevy, you can go ahead and start talking a bit about your background, and also you can talk a bit about Marstudio and what Marstudio brings to the table.
So, okay, we've actually, Jeremy, we've done this a few times now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't want to kind of do the same thing. I want to mix it up a little bit. So as a matter of fact, I hope this time slot works out for people. We're gonna definitely clip this up, chop this up,
Mhm.
tease it up, get the word out. Um, we started this whole idea around a marketing Q&A town hall. And the idea was, Jeremy, that we would flip the script on, getting access to subject matter experts. Because a lot of times you go to a convention, you go to a seminar, someone gets on stage, they talk for 60 minutes, maybe you get a Q&A session for 5 minutes, and then that's it. It's over. And you're left, with a lot of questions, and you wish you could have gotten a little bit more substance. So my entire idea is to definitely make sure that whoever the panelist is that's going to be part of our marketing Q&A town hall that we've started here will definitely reserve, even if they're going to share some subject matter expertise. Sam, one of the original founders of Marstudio, he's the S and the R in Marstudio that you see right there. We're going to be promoting his upcoming event next month. That's going to actually be during the day. That's during the day. It's the typical bat channel, bath time, business time. And I think we got a pretty good number of people that have already signed up to come to that event. I think we're gonna definitely hit over 100 before the event gets near. Probably double that number. But anyways, so yeah. So here's the thing: the Q&A town hall was created so people could get access to subject matter expertise, CMO subject matter experts that they could answer questions about, the most basic to most sophisticated marketing sales related question. Now we're adding a spin. I'm adding a spin, and the spin is we're gonna make it a late night marketing town hall. I do want to make it a little bit more laid back. We do have
Yeah.
some submitted questions, Jeremy, right, that we're going to be
Yep.
getting to give of people a feel for what the marketing town hall Q&A is like. But then on top of that, tonight I have some subjects that I want to get into,
Hmm.
that are just top of mind for me. And maybe we'll do more of these. We'll see how it goes. I really want to get some. I want to get some live participation though. So I know we have all these questions. We go through the Q and A's, and people watch the episodes, or there's some, we attach them to the newsletters. But I thought maybe if we do these at 8 p.m. right on a Thursday, and if people want to like hit us up and they have ideas, they can share. We'll take some ideas. But I thought, maybe, and I got to get Sam and the team and the creative team to give me a new background, because this office thing is, messing up my vibe. It feels like it's that daytime.
Daytime.
We
Yeah.
need we need a late night motif here. We need some stars at Marstudio. Um, so anyways, yeah. So yeah, let's get into our basic Q&A questions. And
Yeah.
a little bit about me. 25 years I've been with Mars Studio. Prior to that, I was in the liquidation sales. That's the most important things you need to know. I've been doing all aspects of sales and marketing for 2 decades. We were in the proposal RFP space. We've done B2B, B2C, B to, B2B, B2G, runs the gamut, really understand personas, avatars, and we're going to get into some Q&As and some subject matter, so I think people will learn more about, my background and expertise. And then Mars Studio, we're a marketing and sales firm. We provide fractional CMO services, all the way through, specific project management for a direct mail piece, or a sales campaign, or a marketing campaign, or a web build, business identity, corporate identity. So it runs the gamut. But yeah, I'm excited. I'd like to just jump right into, the conversation. And I do hope that we
Yeah.
get, one or two attendees tonight that want to actually participate. Maybe we'll be bold enough to join us, or at least just, even if they want to just put the questions right into the box. And the other thing is, Jeremy, I want to tease this. I want to get the message out there. Maybe we could chop this up, make it a little, put it out there on LinkedIn, Facebook, let people know, hey, put the kids to sleep, join us at 8 p.m. You have a business you are running.
Yeah.
You have questions on your mind. You want to know how you can increase your revenue, and, how to market your business, how to generate leads. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Sounds good. Let's get into our first pre-submitted question. So this one's from Jim, and he says, "Hi Chevy, what offline marketing avenues do you suggest for a roofing company besides billboards and flyers?"
Yeah, cool. So what's really neat about that question, and I'm probably gonna not do the right thing and answer the question by taking something offline and bringing it online.
Mm,
Right, Jeremy? You're like,
mm,
hey, what can I use that's offline? Here, use this and make it online. There are a lot of offline assets, but the biggest problem with a lot of offline assets for lead generation, if that if lead generation is the thought process, is that historically there wasn't always a mechanism to, number one, track.
mhm.
So you need a manual tracking mechanism, and number two, follow up on those opportunities in terms of potential interest. But now you can take like an offline asset, like a direct mail piece, and you can actually, code that, let's say, with a landing page and a special offer code where it says, hey, go to this page. You create a custom message, right, to that individual. And it says, hey, I wanted to reach out to you. I have a special offer for you. Here's where you go to claim it. Here's your code. So when they go to that page and they put the code in, here's the benefit. Now you're tracking. And
Mm,
number two, you can tie some sort of retargeting, remarketing cookies or some other type of mechanism to that. So I think again the question was what type of offline mechanisms you could use, and then look, traditional, just assets, whether it's just a business card that's well thought out, really sophisticated. Yes, all of it matters. The typeface matters. The corporate identity design on the business card matters. The thickness of the card matters. Depending on the type of industry you're in, the size, shape, format of the card matters. What information's on the card matters. Again, being a subject matter expert, making people know that you're a credible professional, and especially Jeremy, in a world where in a world that's becoming very digital, it's actually
mm,
becoming very fluid. There isn't as much brick and mortar. It
yeah.
it actually makes more sense to pay attention to your business card in a way, right? Because now, because there is no tangibility.
Mm,
Everybody's always like, here, scan my code or do this. So if you do have something meaningful, and if your services are, viable, then you can do that. And again, having a scan code on the back of the card to your LinkedIn page so they can connect on top of that, could be a way to take a historical asset like a business card and modernize it. Take a historical asset like a direct mail piece and modernize it, and then be able to then tie in and catch, more data and, create the touch points that you need by having that little scan code that you can get out of it.
you mentioned direct mail. Should the point of focus for direct mail in terms of like how you design a direct mail flyer, should it be more on the simplicity side, like here's the call to action, or should it be, or should a company focus also on design and how it looks and make it stand out? Because the truth is, when people get mail, they're just sifting through it. Unless something catches their eye, they may miss it. So is it kind of both, or is it should they focus on leaning more towards one side than the other?
I love the question. And it actually brings up something I wanted to talk about as a
Mm,
subject matter. I wanted to do
subjects.
something different today, and I wanted to
Mm,
like bring up some line items that I wanted to talk about. So one of my line items for today is the power of personalization,
mm,
and personalized marketing strategies and the significant how that can improve customer engagement and conversion rates. Um, so going back to your question about simplicity
mm,
or customization,
mm,
I would say both of those are a component of personalization.
mm,
Does the simplicity meet the needs of your personalization? Does simple meet like the simple merge or in some way benefit your product branding or your service branding or your capability in some way by having it be simple? Sometimes too simple isn't good, right? If I want to take my kid, my 2-year-old crazy boy toddler that's full of energy somewhere to burn off some steam, I don't want simple. I want somewhere with like jungle gyms and
crazy stuff. Yeah.
where he can run and colors and toys and activities so he can get his energy out. So how does simple work or benefit you? If sometimes people can see strength in simplicity or power in simplicity or confidence in simplicity. So if that type of simplicity in your web identity or your brochure or your messaging assists you in some capacity to represent your brand, product, or service, then absolutely simplicity makes sense. And again, simple can be sophisticated, simple can be complicated. Simple doesn't mean to me easy or cheap or lacks depth. And then going back to like the power of personalization and customization, I think that's given. I mean, and here's a really really important caveat, and people need to hear this, and I think sometimes people don't hear this. Um, but that's why people should jump on the show, and hopefully we can, chop some of these pieces up again and make them little sound bites that we can get onto LinkedIn and get the message out there. But here's the thing that people don't want to hear. People want to create brands that represent their wants or likes as it relates to their business. Um, I absolutely believe that you should embody your brand or represent your brand or bring your love or passion to your brand. That's given. However, when you're creating a brand message, a brand voice, a brand tone, a brand font, a brand color, a brand palette, that brand should represent your target audience, the service recipient, the client, the patient, the, the consumer, right? That's who you're speaking to. So your brand, your message, the customization, the simplicity should serve a purpose and resonating with your audience. That should be the goal.
Makes
So
sense.
just so yeah, yeah. So that was good because I got to jump into some of this other um commentary.
Yeah. Next question here. We haven't been very consistent in posting on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook this year. Should I make a content calendar for my business?
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. And by the way, you're not alone. So I'm sitting here on a webinar that we promote on LinkedIn, right? And I could do a better job, self-promoting. People want to engage with people who want to be engaged. And go right now, Jeremy, right? Every single person who's on this call or hears this tidbit, go on Facebook right now and post, I want to go get tacos. Is there anyone interested? Someone's going to respond back and say where, what time, where you're thinking of going. Someone's going to be hungry and interested in tacos, especially unless you have no followers or no friends. Then that, my theory would backfire.
Yeah,
But I
pizza
think
Hut.
I think most of us will have
Pizza
somebody
Hut.
that'll volunteer or say, I wish I was closer or something like that. That you're gonna get a comment or two. And that's the
Mhm.
thing. Like, and but who would respond to you and say, let's go get tacos, but for you putting that out in the world? Right?
Mhm.
So, tell people what you do.
Yeah.
Share with people what you do. Share with people what you have to offer, and do it frequently, and do it personally.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you can. You have the business support, the marketing team, but I do think there's a benefit to the personal engagement.
Mhm.
If you have um if your company's big enough where you have a marketing team or a marketing agency, they can do some of that personalization and some of that outbound communication for you. But it's still different than, getting your hands dirty and getting in the trenches and doing some of that communication. But whether you're doing it yourself or someone else is doing it, you should be doing it. Again, we live in a more digital world when it comes to business these days. And I've referred to these, social media marketplaces as the modern day boulevards and avenue and streets. So think of it as Facebook Square and X Boulevard and YouTube Circle and LinkedIn Avenue. And yes, you need to have your brand there. You need to be present. You need to be have a sign. um, even a homeless person gets a quarter or a dollar because they asked for it. If they don't ask for it, they're not going to get anything. So
Mhm.
get out there and put your message out there, market and advertise yourself. And yes, professional ecosystems. LinkedIn is a up and coming ecosystem. It's a very young ecosystem. There's a lot of potential. LinkedIn in and of itself is doing a ton in terms of developing their technology. They're spending a lot in R&D. So there's a lot of benefits there as well. Um,
Yeah.
but don't try to do it yourself, and that's part of the message. if we haven't done said that yet. Find people. It takes a village. There's a lot of different information pieces out there, and you need people that can help you bring it together.
Mhm. I'll also add with the whole content calendar approach, it really tells you a lot about when your audience is engaged, like when they are online. So when you do post, you could probably your numbers will probably look better in terms of engagement because you're posting kind of at the right times. That's one thing I've noticed. So
Yeah,
content
the most
posting.
important thing I've noticed is doing something
Mhm,
always yields something. Doing
mhm,
nothing always yields nothing. Yeah, it sounds so simple, but it's so true, Jeremy. And I mean, that's just really the reality of it. I mean, in sales and marketing specifically, Jeremy, right? You're in sales, you know what lead gen looks like. You got to put boots on the ground. You got to knock on people's doors. You got to pick up the phone. You got to send an email. You got to have mechanisms of outreach that put you in the ecosystems and the hemisphere and the spaces that your target audience resides in. And that's the number
100%.
one thing. The number one
Mhm,
thing is to do your due diligence, identify your target audience, and determine where they reside, and then create a message to reach them.
yep,
And here I am, and essentially admitting to the fact that the shoe salesman's son has no shoes, the cobbler's son has no shoes, right? Because we're
mhm,
guilty of not doing the things that we should be doing every single day. But we try, we do it in our own way, like this webinar. We do it in a very sophisticated way, but I don't think that excuses doing the basics, doing the minutia. In a sports analogy, yeah, this would be the home run, right? But doing the daily post, doing the daily stuff is like that 3-point contact, not
mhm,
fumbling the ball on a play. It's
mhm.
basic, touches on the ball, basic touches in marketing, basic touches in communication. You
Yep.
want people to know who you are and what you're doing. You need to make those touches. You need to put your words out there, and you need to make yourself available. That's why I think my business partner on this call, and 25 years later, there's been ups and downs. But that's why I get excited when school starts up again, because the audience here might not know, but my wife's a school teacher and I got two girls that are in school. So when they go back to school, life goes back to normal for me in terms of priorities and being pulled in different directions, at least from 7 till 3 in the afternoon. So again, it's just about putting your priorities in the right place, and digging in and doing the things that you need to do, and
Good
then people
analogy.
need to
Mhm,
hear that, and that's what I think that's part of what I want to do on this, like, late night get real, late night get real marketing and sales thing. Yeah, if somebody wants to join this call, join the Zoom, join us. Not this week. Jeremy, I'm thinking of maybe even doing these weekly. Like, I know we're doing it monthly, but if there's interest and there's people that'll join us, like, let's do this weekly. Let's get some people that are like, hey, at 8 o'clock, there's this guy. He jumps on and he talks about business, and if
mhm.
people are available and have questions, let them jump on, and let's start creating some buzz, and let me just put it up there as a weekly thing. And I want to just keep it organic, and have people bring their problems, and we can make the problem in and of itself the town hall, and
Yeah.
maybe help some people. So it'd be interesting.
Cool.
I don't know,
Next question here.
maybe we'll make you our first guinea pig. And the other thing is, Jeremy, we'll make you our first guinea pig. Maybe at the end of this show, we're going to get into a little bit of synergy reach in and of itself.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll flip the script. I'll play host, and we'll ask you some questions and put you on the hot seat. But also,
Yeah.
man, if you wanna, get brainstorm like something marketing or sales challenge wise that you're experiencing, maybe we can have that discussion. But you know what else I'm thinking,
Definitely.
Jeremy, that I think our audience might actually enjoy? I'm thinking we should do, invite a company, actually invite someone for the weekly session.
Mm.
So
That's
say,
really
hey, you're a
interesting.
business owner, come, join us. And I'm actually thinking of maybe bringing some current clients on. So we have a few different clients in a few different industries, and maybe they would be willing to join us for a part of our webinar podcast slash go live. But anyways, I want to mix it up. I want to make it fun. I want people to feel comfortable. Want to get the message out there, but that we're gonna see what we can do.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think adding a business owner to the fray does mix it up, especially hearing their experience marketing, doing sales, using these crazy new AI tools, and it just adds a new dimension to um, our calls. So that's actually really interesting.
I'm
You bring that
actually
up.
I was contemplating like even just doing an interview session and bringing Sam in. I know he's presenting next week, but
Yeah,
not next week, next month. And hey Jeremy, can we share that really quick? I know we're at the half an
yeah,
hour mark.
yeah.
I definitely want to plug I want to plug Sam's event in. Um and clip cut. Here's the promo reel piece, Sammy, for you. Let's
All
make
right.
sure we're
Just a
promoting
second.
this event on LinkedIn. This is going to be great. Again, hey, if you're just joining us, this is the Marstudio Marketing Q&A Town Hall. But upcoming next month, we have how to make your brand message resonate, a 7-step framework. So I've definitely been keeping it, loose and fun and laid back and doing a Q&A style session. Sam's going to bring some structure. Sam's going to give you something to really work with in terms of a framework. It's a 7-step framework on again how to make your brand message resonate with your target audience. And we've been hitting on some of these things tonight, but he's just really going to break it down instead of just making it a conversation. Sam is one of the original founders of Marstudio. He's actually the S and the R in Mars. Adam Enrique is one of the other original founders. For those that don't know, Marstudio was founded at New Jersey Institute of Technology in New Jersey, NJIT, and 25 years later, here we are, and Sam is absolutely a subject matter expert in the space when it comes to branding, brand message, brand voice. Um,
Mhm.
so he's worked in the B2B space, B2G space. He's worked in the medical space, food and beverage, hospitality. I mean, you run name it. And prior to Marstudio, Jeremy, he was working for Discovery Channel, Network Solutions. Definitely some big dogs. AOL. I mean, talk about an old dog that's still around. But
Yeah,
these are
surprisingly.
ecosystems. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned the Discovery Channel. CoStar was a commercial real estate company. For those people in the space, they would really know that. Sam was really integral in creating the, CoStar Showcase, kind of like a digital ecosystem and the user experience for that. When CoStar went from, a catalog to a CD, eventually to a user experience. But anyways, Sam's, you know, a genius in the space, and people would be mistaken to miss that out. I'm gonna see if I can drag Sam into the late night. I know, by the way, I think last month we had a technical slash
Yeah,
personal. I had a technical
matter.
hiccup, but I also had a family emergency, and Sam filled in for me last month during my show, during my event, and so I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, Sam's going live during the day, during the workday, Thursday, September 12th at 10 a.m. So again, I'm looking forward to being on that. I'm not sure they're going to let me on as a panelist, but I'm definitely going to be an attendee. They know that I'd hijack the event, but here's the cool thing: there is a 7-step framework, and he's going to be spending about 45 minutes presenting that. But here's what I'm excited about. I convinced them. I said, "Hey, look, in the spirit of the marketing town hall Q&A, you're still gonna have to make sure you're leaving yourself, at least 30, 45 minutes for, people to engage you if they want to get into questions. So I definitely hope people are smart enough to jump on this session that Sam's gonna do, this webinar that he's gonna do, and be prepared to ask questions because he's not always available. I've gotten him to agree to do two, Jeremy, two of these a year.
Unprecedented.
Two,
Unprecedented.
two, two, man. That's one every 6 months. So hopefully it goes really well, and there's some good participation, and we get some good feedback, and we do it. I can get him on here, quarterly. But yeah, right now it's he's got one planned this month for September, and then I think he's back in like March. But yeah, so people should sign up. They should get on here. They should watch this. So there's a lot of information, a lot of good nuggets, and I don't know about you, Jeremy, but I love the subject matter.
Me too. Yeah.
Brand message. I don't think people realize how important brand message is and what it is. Maybe I think, and but what I like about it is I think people understand the significance of it, right? It's like, that sounds really important. But it should really resonate with people because if you don't have a
Mhm.
brand message that's on point, on target with your audience, you're doomed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard for you to, get that conversion to even begin the process of getting the lead warmed up. So again, I think the 7-step framework is going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can learn something that I can implement in what we do. I always feel like I learn something from Sam when I'm on the show with him. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to plug this one more time before the night is through. Um, and yeah, and we'll go from there. And
Sounds
Jeremy
good.
is our daytime host. For those of you that don't know, you can stop the share, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jeremy's our daytime host for those of you that don't know, and he's volunteered to do this in the evening because just as insane as the rest of us, and he's like,
Definitely.
yeah, I got
100%.
nothing better to do at 8 p.m. on Thursday.
On Thursday.
So and like I don't have anything better to do. Apparently over here on Mars. You know what? That's what it's late night on Mars and the sun is out over here because we're on a different like, solar system.
So you got to
Solar
keep it the
solar
same
day.
then,
Yeah, we're on
because
Sols here. So the Sols, that's why it's late night, but it's sunny outside. Yeah,
it's on
that's
the
the
outside.
story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah. All right, Jeremy, let's get to some more questions. People who
Mm.
submitted their questions are gonna like watch the newsletter and watch the old, video when the team posted. They're gonna be like, they didn't get to any of my questions. They just
Dude,
rambled
yeah.
on and on and on and talk about Sam. But all right, let's get to some more questions.
Cool. So here's a question here. Is it still worth it to invest in an SEO professional when there are emerging AI tools for it? So I'm guessing they're saying emerging AI tools for SEO that they can use.
I think so, and I
Mhm.
don't think so. I know so, and here's why. Yeah. Oh, this is great. So you just hit on another one of my topics.
Awesome. There we go.
Yeah, you hit on another one of my topics that I had for tonight. So we hit one of my topics, which was the power personalization, Jeremy.
Yep.
I had a role of a CMO, AI, a graphic designer in marketing.
Hmm.
What is the roles of all these different folks, including so what AI allows us to do, and what AI does on a technology level, it leverages what we call collective intelligence. Okay.
Hmm.
So collective intelligence can also be raised from another perspective, which is when you combine human um, intelligence together. So think of an army. You put a lot of different people together with different subject matter expertise. That's human intelligence,
Yep.
collective human intelligence. And then you can do something else, which is a hybrid of where you use technology, AI, and humans, and you join those two together, and then you get a hybrid of human and artificial and collective intelligence. So, what I have seen, and I think this is where even the role of a CMO can be very powerful. One with knowledge. Different CMOs are going to have different positions, and they might not have the same exposure that another CMO might have. But from where I have been and the exposure I have seen, AI behaves the best when it exists in ecosystems where the user of the AI has experience in um, potentially leveraging a tool in order to perform that trade. So let's think of a carpenter that uses a hammer and a chisel, and then you
Mhm.
give him an electric chisel. He's probably going to be better at chiseling than a guy who's never chiseled wood before.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's just a tool, it's just an enhanced tool and now we're going from hardware to software intelligence.
Mhm.
So again, I think knowing what roles exist in marketing and sales, it can be very powerful.
Mhm.
I remember as a young business owner when I recognized the roles of a CFO versus a bookkeeper versus a tax attorney versus a CPA. They're different and they play different functions. And in marketing and sales, it's not just, hey, I got this agency and they're doing my website and they run my ads. Like we've just outgrown that world.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of layers. There's social media, there's digital, there's SEO, there's SEM, there's search engine management, search engine optimization. Let me not just throw out acronyms that make absolutely no sense to people. Even saying search engine optimization or search engine management or pay per click or cost per click or retargeting or remarketing may not, just because I'm using the actual word, may not mean a lot to a lot of folks who
Mhm.
don't understand, and nor should they. I don't think every CEO or business owner needs to, understand every single nuance of every single department and every single software and every single technology and know every single person's job. But
Mhm.
it is important that that leader know that there are people out there, like a senior CMO, a senior chief marketing officer like myself, that, manages this space and can assist in putting the right people and subject matter experts in this space to help you achieve success without having to go out there and build $1 million team. Because
Mhm.
that's what it's costing these days. You wanna hire a competent CMO, not even a senior chief marketing officer. You're looking at six figures. You're looking at
Mhm.
6 figures minimum for just a chief marketing officer. How much do you think it's going to cost to put someone like Sam on your payroll, a chief brand officer of his caliber with his knowledge and experience? But how do you get access to this knowledge? How do you leverage someone else's experience to use that AI product to either A, when it comes to SEO, perform the SEO optimization for you, or B, provide some sort of data or analytics that helps you improve the SEO. But there's so many different ways that you could leverage AI. But I think it would get complicated, and I would recommend that don't go buy a high-end Ferrari and floor it the first day with no experience. Get a race car driver to at least show you around a few times, and then when you feel comfortable, start taking it for laps on your own.
Yeah, you brought up some good points, especially having subject matter experts that are heads of their department. Like a CEO doesn't know every single thing, but he has a person that's a head of content, head of ads, someone that knows that department very well. And
Yeah.
I think people forget this when they hear about AI tools. An SEO specialist, or let's take an agency, for example, they know how to optimize, to increase the ranking of a website, but also they know the why behind it. They know the little nuances of what's going on. that allows them to take multiple approaches for optimizing a website because it can vary. So,
Yeah, I don't know if I finished the thought. I was trying to articulate you do need the subject matter expert of using the tool on one end,
mhm,
and then on the other end, it is beneficial to have the subject matter expert of the tool being created, basically whoever created the AI.
mhm,
So whoever created the electric chisel, like show me how the electric chisel works, give me a
mhm,
manual, explain it to me, and then walk away. So I do think that those are two ingredients. So, like for example, we've leveraged AI for conversion, we've leveraged AI for graphic design, we've leveraged AI for videography, photography. But in
mhm,
every single one of those cases, it was put in the hands of a different subject matter expert because of what it was engaged in doing. The conversion AI tool went in the hands of a sales and market salesperson.
yeah,
The creative the videography AI tool went in the hands of the senior videographer
mhm,
to leverage that in order to create a video. So again, it depends on what piece it is and what it is, what is the intent of it. But AI can be leveraged in so many ways. We have a Marstudio signature process, Jeremy, that has like 9 different priorities. At the center is what we refer to as the almighty brand, is the client's brand, their persona,
yeah,
their planet. And then you have these 9 satellite priorities. But around the whole thing is like this ozone layer, and the ozone layer is a depiction of AI, and it
mhm,
shows how AI can really touch all the different satellites, all the different priorities, whether that's content management systems, CRMs, ERPs, whether it's business visualization, corporate collateral, sales collateral, marketing collateral, data analytics. You think it AI can in some way touch it, enhance it, but that's why again you're gonna still need a team of people who understand how what this information is, and then
mhm.
you need the AI specialist or subject matter expert that can work with the team.
Yep,
Um, yeah.
makes sense. Let's go on to our next pre-submitted question. My company offers a SaaS product, and we're going to start marketing it with paid ad media soon. What are common ad marketing mistakes in your experience? I'd like to avoid as many hiccups along the way as possible. From Clarence.
Yeah, without beating a dead horse, know your audience. Why? Because not knowing your audience, you may not know where they reside. Not knowing where they reside, you'll waste time trying to reach your audience in the wrong ecosystem.
Mhm,
So if you have a SaaS product, you need to look into your client persona, you need to look into your avatar, you need to look into understanding who they are, where they are, and then create a message that would resonate with them, understand their needs. Um, Sam's 7 steps to creating a brand message that resonates with your target audience. That's coming up, folks.
Yep,
Plug,
next month.
plug. Um, you know, um, you got to do that. And when you do that, then you can reach the people you need to reach. Why? Because you've determined where, first of all, what the message should be, what the pain points are, and hopefully identified where they reside in order to share that message with them in that ecosystem. Whether that's a social media channel like LinkedIn or a publication like some sort of chief technology officer daily digital publication that comes out. I don't know, but there's that's the due diligence that needs to be done in order to get the results and not make the mistakes. Measure, measure, just like anything else. Um, I don't care if you're a mom or a dad. We've all gone and bought too much or too little of a material or an ingredient, and come home and then had to go back out there and reacquire additional material because we didn't measure, figure it out, like anticipate before moving forward. You'll save time, money, and energy And it won't really cost you anything to plan and find someone that can help you plan and help you move your plan forward.
Mhm. Uh, you mentioned the brand message, and without stealing Sam's thunder for next month, um, when do you think, like, let's say a brand has established their brand message, when would you say would be a good time for them to revisit and update that brand message? Because marketplaces change, products change. So when would you say would be a good time to revisit the brand message?
Yeah, I'll break it down. I'll break it down into four initial priorities that you go through, and then it'll bring you full circle. First and foremost, before you begin the priorities, you need to make sure you understand your audience. We've established that. We've said it
Yep.
several times. So you know your audience. Now I know who they are. I know what they need. I'm gonna visualize that.
Mhm.
Priority number one. Before you do anything else, visualize to your target audience who you are. Make your logo, your tagline, your corporate identity, your website, all of your day-to-day communication assets in line with that brand message.
Mhm.
That would be priority number one for me. Priority number two. That's gonna make someone who sees me priority number one. When someone sees me, engage me, I'm credible, I'm clear about who I am or what I have. Priority number two. Sales collateral, sales funnels. I would improve and enhance all of my sales collateral and funnels. Why? Because if somebody finds me, I'm credible, they choose to engage me, you're going to need to convert them. So you want to have your assets in order to convert them. This is your brochure, your PowerPoint presentation, your iPad presentation, whatever it is that you have, that you do to convert. A sales landing page, a sales funnel, a video, anything that helps convert your end audience, or your client or your potential lead into a client, right? Lead
Mhm.
into client.
Mhm.
That's priority number two, sales collaterals and funnels. Number three, now I look credible. I know how to generate my leads, or I know how, excuse me, I know I have an asset to convert my leads. I got the net to pull the fish out when the fish comes, right? I got the net. Um, Priority number three, lead generation, advertising. Now I can turn up the funnel. Now I can turn on the leads. So business visualization, sales funnels, now lead gen. Now I want the flow. Now I want to debate because I have a credible brand. I can convert those opportunities when they get there. I'm investing money. I'm prepared for the opportunity that's going to come my way. So
Mhm.
now that I'm investing money in generating leads, I'm getting traffic to my page. I'm taking people through my sales funnels. Obviously, I want to measure. So priority number four is measuring those results, measuring the traffic on the page, measuring the conversions, measuring the leads, measuring the impressions, measuring the click-throughs, measuring the time spent on the site, on your the number of conversions, the number of calls, the number of meetings. That's what you're doing. That's priority number four. I think at that point you've now received a tangible, credible, articulate data. You should have in priority four, you're integrating your dashboards, your analytics, your any type of metrics, capturing that data, reporting it into some sort of overarching dashboard, and looking at it. And when you're looking at it, you're leveraging that information to make changes. You're now making changes to your business visualization based on pages that have more traffic, pages that are getting visits, information that you've gathered. You're making changes to your sales funnels. You're making changes to the engagements. You're making changes to your contact forms. You're making changes to the lead gen, you're looking at the data in order to enhance. And this process just goes around and around. You're now back to P1, business visualization, sales funnels, lead gen, data. Business visualization, sales funnels, lead gen, data. It just goes around and around and around. And then there's
Cycle,
other
yeah.
priorities that you want to get to once you've perfected those priorities.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Before we get to our next question, I would like to share with everyone, whether you're on or you're watching this back, about an offer that we do have for um, those who attend our webinar. Hold on just a second.
Jeremy, I wanted to say something about this that we haven't said. Man, we gotta, here's the thing. Um, like I said earlier on, Jeremy, I don't, I don't want to sit here and talk about my accolades anymore,
Mhm.
right? I said I don't want to do it, but I'm about to do something,
He's
right?
about to do it.
Yeah. No, here's my point.
Speaking
Here's
of
my
my
point.
accolades,
Yeah, behind me, I got an entire trophy case, right? An entire trophy case, and I haven't earned a single one of these on my own. My team has earned every single one of these. But we don't, I don't, I want to provide substance. Sam's presentation coming up, this webinar exclusive offer, a free one-on-one business growth strategy session it's with me. It's basically a senior CMO. I am Marstudio senior chief marketing officer. And then I can guide you. The value of these sessions that people probably don't know. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. And again, I hope my creative team and my marketing team slice and dice this and put it out there. The value of this session is $1,500 if you go through with it. What comes out of these sessions, the value of the session is worth $1,500. That's what people pay us to do these sessions. And we're offering it for free because we're like, it's crazy. But have you seen that meme? Have you seen those videos where the guy goes out in the street and he's like Hershey bar or silver bar? And then everybody
yeah,
like takes the Hershey bar and doesn't take the silver. Or there's the guy that's walking around trying to give away a gold bar and nobody will take it from him. Like I feel like that's kind of what we're doing here. And I think a couple people are gonna jump on and then I'm gonna get busy and I'm not gonna have time to do this and we're not gonna do it. But we're gonna put the bait in the water. We're gonna put the gold bar in the water. We're gonna put the silver bar in the water. We're gonna see who grabs it. So I do hope that people take these opportunities and we're not the shoe salesman's son has no shoes. We haven't been going crazy on advertising or promoting these webinars. We're just kind of out here, we do this because we enjoy it. I actually really love sharing this information. Um, but once we start promoting it and once the sessions start booking up, then they're gonna start booking up and we're not gonna be able to do this for free anymore. And we might be able to do additional sessions, but it'll be with a CMO, which is still awesome in terms of a value in and of itself. It won't be with myself. But we'll figure it out. But we're always trying to bring value. So right now, there's an amazing again, and maybe we can bring up that other slide really quick, Jeremy. So you can scan
Sam
this if
slide.
you're yeah, you can bring up Samsung.
Mhm.
If you're even watching a recorded version of this, guys, if you're seeing this in the newsletter, you can scan this and get a one-on-one session with me. You don't have to be live in order to take advantage of this because at some point the scan code's just not going to work. You're going to scan it, it's just not going to work. It's not going to go to a page that's going to work. So
404,
as
yeah.
long as if you scan this and it works, then book it. You're going to get a session with me and we can jump into stuff. You get 1 hour. And if you decide to come on board, that 1 hour is free. It's yours. And oh, I might as well say something else. Here, you might as well give them the trifecta, Jeremy. I want to give them the trifecta tonight. You got the upcoming business you got the how to make your brand message resonate a 7-step framework with Mars Studios founder next month coming up. um you got the webinar exclusive opportunity to do a session with me. um there's that on top of it, so that's two partner offers, two Mars Studio partner offers. And then on top of that, you got Marstudio's 25-year anniversary. So for clients that do choose to come on board from our studio services, you don't have to do that. That's not an obligation as part of this free one-on-one session. But if you do choose to come on board, we're offering, because of our 25-year anniversary, we've never done this before. We're offering a 25% discount on your initial engagement for the first 3 months. That's like big money savings. So, and there's a lot we can get into in the first 45 days in terms of identifying, low-hanging priorities, mid-range, short-range priorities, quick fixes that can have, big impact in terms of your marketing, communication, lead generation, conversion opportunities. And we can do a deeper dive in 60 to 90 days where we can really look at the entire ecosystem. Jeremy, I mentioned those 4 different priorities. We look at those priorities. We look and see how they're integrated into each other, where gaps might be. If
Mhm.
those areas are actually pretty robust, we can get it deeper into the automation priorities, priority 5, 6, 7, 8 in marketing automation, sales automation, service automation, um, as well as AI solutions in terms of lead gen and marketing, communication, and nurturing as well. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, lots of awesome opportunities. Again, marketing team. I know you're not on this call probably. You're probably all in your beds getting your beauty sleep for tomorrow's early morning wake up call and getting to work. But chop this up, get the word out. We're gonna share this with the community. People are gonna know. And again, and listen, you can literally get a full blown business workout here. Just join if you don't mind having your business out there. We're on here for 90 minutes. And if I get the right people and I get the right interest, I might go like super late. I'm thinking of doing some real, kind of like some crazy nights and maybe doing like a 2 hour, 3 hour bingers on here, doing sales and marketing, conversations. So if people, have an interest, if there's a CEO out there, if there's a business owner out there that's really struggling, come on here, share what's going on, and we'll see what we can do to help you and point you in the right direction. And if nobody else is taking advantage of the opportunity, we'll get deeper. But the webinar exclusive is not on Zoom. I mean, it is on Zoom, but it's not live. You're not sharing your information with anyone. It's one-on-one, me and you, privacy, pure discretion. You need a, I don't know, non-disclosure signed. Send it ahead of time. I'll have my team, review it. Our legal department review it. I'll get it signed and we'll get moving forward. But anyways, just
Perfect.
some food for thought. All right.
Awesome. Let's get on to our next question. So, how do I extend the lifetime value of a customer? For context, our company is an e-commerce subscription service in the skincare industry.
Jeremy, either you cut out or my brain cut out. Can you repeat the
Okay.
question?
Yeah, I can say it again. How do I extend the lifetime value of a customer? For
Oh,
context, our company is an e-commerce subscription service in the skincare industry.
okay. Yeah, so well, I'm gonna nerd out a little bit, but I'll try to simplify it and come back to, just a more basic understanding. With e-commerce, there's some really amazing tools out there that can identify the consumer traffic coming to the site. So 40% of the traffic that comes to our site is our be back clients. And it's 8 times easier to sell to existing clients than it is to new clients. So what if we could leverage that technology to then reach out to those current clients who are coming back to our website to get them to, follow through with their abandoned cart? Because only 2% of that traffic that I was just articulating actually went through the process. So there's 40% of traffic that comes to your website that includes be back clients that don't engage you. So if we could identify that traffic, we could potentially engage them. to do business with them. On a more basic note, without the cool bells and whistles and getting into priority 8, 9, 10, stuff. Uh, just understanding the idea of the value of your client once you've established that relationship. Um, Joey Coleman's book talks about an 8-step process. He's reinvented the sales process. I won't bore you with all 8 steps, but I'll share the final step, which is that getting your client to advocate for you, basically be a cheerleader for you. So, clients are loyal. And if they bought from you in the past, they'll buy from you again, unless they don't have a reason not to. And again, it's 8 times easier to sell to them. So email marketing, direct mail marketing, the most basic mechanisms can be utilized to re-engage those consumers of your
Yeah.
products. Um,
Yeah, I also think incentives go a long way. In e-commerce, you
oh,
see,
sure.
companies doing bundles and things like that, or multiple month style subscriptions to incentivize
Yeah,
subscribers to,
service products.
you
Yeah,
know,
if you're gonna reach out to your clients, I mean, you have to have some sort of offer, and
yeah,
nothing makes your client feel more valued than to have some sort of client exclusive offer. Thank you for being a
definitely.
valued client.
Yeah,
XYZ is specifically for you, and it doesn't matter if it's product or service
yeah,
that you're providing that exclusive offer for.
yeah. Also, people love those loyalty points. They're still around for a reason. It's just an incentive to remain a subscriber, and they can get future discounts based off because they've purchased in the past before. So the loyalty rewards and all of that are another approach that kind of came to mind.
Yeah, that was actually on my list of topics to talk about today.
Mhm.
Number 5 was building a
Awesome.
strong brand community. So I mean, I feel like that's part of what we're talking about.
Mhm. Could you expand on that?
Making sure. Well, expand on that.
Yeah.
Um, so when you're thinking of like a community, you're thinking of loyalty, and you're thinking of advocacy, and you're thinking of, ongoing revenue, right?
Hmm.
Again, we're in business. So, so building a strong brand community is kind of like part of the idea of having a product or service or value proposition, right?
Hmm.
That resonates with that community, and that community can't imagine, not having you a part of that
Yeah.
ecosystem.
Hmm.
So you got to make yourself indispensable. You got to make your product indispensable, your service indispensable.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like ultimately the goal. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think community. Yeah,
God,
real quick, I think community is a great word for it because community is like associated with a sense of belonging with
yeah,
something. So if you can create that, people are highly more likely to stay loyal because they identify with your brand. It's like part of their life. Um, so that is definitely a powerful approach.
yeah, and speaking of the topics, the third topic on my list um, was data-driven decision making. And when we were talking earlier about when do you go back and change things, that really lined up with what I already shared about those priorities,
Mhm.
business visualization, eventually leading to sales funnels, collateral. And once you have those in place, then you turn on the water, then you turn on the faucet, and that's your
The
lead gen and
lead
advertising.
mechanism.
And that's when you begin to capture the data. And now that you have data, that's the data-driven decision making, highlighting the importance of leveraging data analytics and marketing strategies.
Mhm.
Basically how businesses can harness data to understand consumer behavior and optimize campaigns to drive growth. So that was another topic that we could expand on with but there I do have one particular topic. I don't know why I put it as second on my list. because I do think it's an important one. I had six, but I'll leave it at five and share this one other one with you guys, and then we'll
Sure.
get jump right back into the questions for the remainder of the time. But that's sustainable marketing.
Mm,
And it's not something people really think about. But marketing is almost becoming unsustainable because it's becoming so layered and so sophisticated. And what's becoming even more difficult is kind of like this almost like access, you know, almost like a barrier to access
mhm,
where unless you have a lot of money and you can afford a really fancy agency, or you can afford to hire, 10 people in house, to the tune of, $1 million to have, a good quality, high quality team, competent team. And then even then, that team needs to gel, work together, have done projects together, have the right experience, have the right pieces, have the right background and experience to be able to do that. Jeremy, like it just shocks me how much has changed in marketing ecosystem. Back when I used to work for my father as a kid in the liquidation space, we used to do a lot of guerrilla marketing, liquidating a store that was going out of business in the commercial retail space. And we used to do, sign walkers and billboards and third page of the Washington Post and radio and local TV, and, purchase and sell inventory and do bandit signs. And we used to do all sorts of crazy stuff. And it was, and you used to use a graphic designer, and even when things went digital, okay, there was some digital advertising or some digital emails or some, you put something up on your website, but it was a one-man operation. It's no longer a one-man operation. You have to have, sales subject matter experts like yourself in the lead nurturing space. You need to have global subject matter experts potentially, and someone like me if you're running a bona fide company that can help you evaluate these different areas and see if you have any gaps in your marketing and sales communication ecosystem. You need brand subject matter experts, messaging subject matter experts, digital subject matter experts, dev subject matter experts, web subject matter experts, hosting subject matter experts, IT subject matter experts. I mean, I could
laundry
just,
list.
social media subject matter experts, organic subject matter experts, paid subject matter experts for Google paid versus organic, Facebook organic versus paid, LinkedIn organic versus paid, um, environmental advertising, billboard advertising, magazine advertising, direct mail advertising, purchase list, email marketing, audience MailChimp versus, acquired email marketing, and how that works. How do you warm up an ISP? That's so much that a potential business would have to deal with. And so, I wanted to, I really like this conversation about exploring the growing importance of sustainability in marketing and talking about how businesses can align their marketing efforts. And when we think of sustainability, most people are like, "Oh, you're thinking about eco-friendly." Yeah, but I'm talking about financially friendly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about business friendly. I'm talking about reality friendly too. So, and that, and not to, actually to pat Mark, I'm not going to say not to pat Marstudio on the back, but to pat Marstudio on the back. That's the solution we're offering. That's the solution Marstudio offers. We have 25 years, a quarter century. What is it called? A quarter century of marketing experience. Just our executive team alone has over 100 years of experience, just in business experience of actual in marketing and communication. Karen, our chief marketing communications officer, and Olga, our chief dev officer, alone have over 50 years of marketing and communications experience just in dev and project management. Um, but yeah, talking to people that understand us, and then this is where I want to take the word sustainable and put a different meaning on it. Jeremy, people ask me all the time, and I'm glad this is recorded and we can put this out there because people need to be asking this of their agencies. Because people ask me all the time, Chevy, what's a good budget for my marketing that I need to spend? Um, oh, by the way, I'm sorry. My legs are cramping like crazy, Jeremy. I should have drank more water being out with my daughters today. But anyways,
Should we
um,
take a webinar break?
no, no,
5 minute
I'm
break.
okay. I'm okay. Yeah, so I'm just glad I haven't lost my train of thought. People ask me all the time, Chevy, what's the budget I need?
Mhm.
Budget, right? Budget always comes. It's the elephant in the room because that's the one thing people always want to talk about. And that's the thing. We got late night marketing conversations, so let's talk about it. And the reality is that you need to have a budget. It's business, right? That's the reality. Now, okay, fine, but how can I afford something I can't afford it? And what is the budget that I need? And my answer to people is, and this is my humble, experienced answer. And anybody that doesn't like whatever the number is, you don't want to work with them. The
Mhm.
answer is coming back to the word, a sustainable one. You need a sustainable budget. So just figure out what that is for your company. If you don't know how to figure it out, work with somebody that'll help you figure it out. That is not, directly or me, there's more incentive to them and than just wanting to take your money. Let's put it that way. Use formulas. 2.5% to 10% of your gross revenue should equal your marketing budget. Determine your client acquisition cost. 20%, 25% of your profits on average across all businesses should be used for reinvestment and generating a new lead for your business. Think of, harvesting corn and selling your corn and keeping 25% to replant into the ground and to feed your family for next year's harvest. So like there is formulas, there's ways to figure out these numbers. If you have seed capital, that's one thing. If you don't have seed capital, then you're going to need to work on with cash flow. Find an agency that you want to work with, that you trust, that has the subject matter expertise, that's willing to work with your budget, can build with your sustainable budget. Whether it's, um, $10,000 a month, and that might blow some people's heads out. Like I'm a small business, I only make $240,000 a year. I can't afford 10,000 a month. Well, I'm not talking about you. If you're making $240,000 a year, then 10% of your budget at most is $24,000 a year. That's the high end of your budget. Okay, find an agency that you can spend $2,000 a month with, to build a better future for your company, to work towards improvements in these different priorities. But yeah, so sustainability, sustainability and access, sustainability and information, sustainability and growth, sustainability and creativity, sustainability and budget. But yeah, sustainable marketing. And again, I'm not talking about, earth friendly paper
Ecosystem.
products, but that's important too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one I wanted to definitely hit on. Again, I you know I know there's a possibility, as we evolve in these, do more of these webinars and we get more traction, Jeremy. Apparently Sam's much better looking than me because his event that he's planning for next month has like, over 100 followers already. So, but that's cool. I'm not jealous. But yeah, as we get more traction, I think we might get, a couple different types of audiences. We're gonna get seasoned, experienced veteran CEOs, business owners that are like, man, I love this, and I want to, pick, Chevy's brain and figure out what I can do to improve my business. And I think you're going to get some, startup business owners that are like, I didn't know this, and this could help me. But it doesn't matter to me who you are. Let's have a conversation. Come to the table. Send your questions. But again, I'm going to give priority to folks that join us live. That are willing to invest the time, that have the questions at the ready, and they want to put it there, and I can ask a follow up. But again, we'll we get the weekly, monthly submitted questions that people ask, and they're like, if you could answer my question, I like watching your newsletter, your podcast, and thanks for sharing. And I get those little notes every once in a while on LinkedIn. I appreciate those when we get them. Thanks to those that follow. And yeah, so I probably don't say that enough. That reach out and support and just say, hey, Chevy, saw you out there. Nice to hear from you. Again, any outreach is appreciated, and those of you that join is appreciated. But anyways,
Nice.
what do you want to do? We
So
got we got 9 minutes, Jeremy, and I don't know
yeah,
if at 9:30 you want to do that
yeah,
overtime, 15-minute overtime.
yeah. Let's flip the
Um,
script. 9:30.
flip the script, but we'll
Yeah.
do that
So
and go until 9:45. Maybe somebody will join. Hop on here, and we'll see where we go from
yeah,
there.
yeah. So we have about 9 minutes, so we can get to probably one or two more questions.
Yeah, let's
Here's a
do
good
rapid
one.
fire. Let's do rapid fire. You know what? 9 questions, 9 minutes. I'm gonna do like 30-second answers. Let's go.
When would you say is the best time to collect client testimonials?
Right after you've done something really good for them, and they're
What do you
happy.
mean? What do you mean
Yeah,
by
yeah,
that?
yeah. It's a quick answer. It's dirty. It's quick. It's fast. You finish the project. They're happy. You're about to start something else for them. Ask them for the testimonial. Get it while they're happy. Get it while they're
Okay.
willing to give it to you. Hey, by the way, before we start the next project, or by the way, if you're happy with that project, can I get a testimonial from you? Yeah, get it while they're happy.
Okay.
Get it after you
Next question.
accomplish it.
Next question. I'm thinking of adding more AI components to my team's marketing process. Um, but in what ways does AI fall short?
Oh, human intelligence. That's how AI falls short. You got to know where you want to apply it. Identify the areas that you have weakness and determine if it can shore up those weaknesses, or identify places that you could use additional support and ask yourself if AI can provide that additional support instead of, let's say, hiring another employee.
Hmm.
Oh man, I wish I could hire an employee to call those 1,000 people that reached out to me that I never heard from. Well, you can dump that list of 1,000 into an AI software. They'll reach out to those folks for you. You don't need to hire
Hmm.
someone. So again, what's the application? What's the purpose? What's the logic? And then leverage it.
Cool. Next question. Curious about how to reduce unsubscribe rates in email marketing. You
There's
want
a
me to
lot of
repeat it?
ways, a lot of ways, and I'm going from thinking I'm wavering between technical, non-technical, technical, non-technical. Let me not do technical, and let me say titles, titles,
Mm,
titles, titles, titles. You have to have titles that resonate with the target audience that you're sending the message to. The more unique, the better. Speaking of unique titles and AI, here's a little teaser for you. How about leveraging AI that tracks user traffic to pages, which then sends a custom email to said user and creates a specific custom title for the email based on the traffic of that individual user. There's stuff out there that can make it amazingly easy. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg to hire a $48,000 marketing director
okay.
assistant.
This question says, how can I better target keywords on Google Ads? Do you have a
And
process
and
for
by the
finding
way,
keywords?
teasing the 9:30 flipping the script, or you just use Synergy Reach's team to get do those custom touch points for you. That's another thing.
There we go. Voila, voila, voila. Absolutely. But yeah, we're 5 minutes away from that, so that's awesome. This question says, how can I better target how can I target better keywords in Google on Google Ads? Do you have a process for finding keywords that aren't too competitive?
Um, I think that question lost me. Give it to me one more time.
So so how can I target better keywords on Google Ads? Do you have a process for finding keywords that aren't too
Oh,
competitive?
okay.
So when
Yeah,
I'm
improving.
getting what I think is being said is um the competitive keywords are expensive, but they still want to have keywords that, are getting searches basically. So I
I
guess
think I'm
that's
really
where
smart. I think I know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't run my own Google Ads campaign because once again, the subject matter expertise it takes to run those campaigns successfully, I think, in and of itself is a trade.
mm,
And if I was making bona fide investments, if you're spending one, two, $3,000 a month on pay per click, strongly consider making an investment of $1,000 a month in a good team to manage that money for you. You'll get two, three times the return on your investment by having the right people do that work for you.
mm,
Um, the software in and of itself and tools and technologies that are used that are not in my subject matter expertise privy, but I'm knowledgeable enough to know about them. They use technology that helps them identify keywords. They have tools and they have ways to measure the success rate of a keyword.
mm,
And
mm,
there's more than one way to do that. There's broad keyword search or match. There's specific keyword match. There's all sorts of different parameters that you can leverage. And then Google even makes negative keyword recommendations, positive keyword. You could have a keyword that's performing really well, but it's performing really well for something that's completely unrelated to your
yeah.
industry. Being able to have somebody that can identify those, review those, eliminate those, talk to you about those. Again, the trade in and of itself is sophisticated. If nothing else, at least hire a company for a year, 2, 3 years to set up the ecosystem for you, make sure it's running optimally, and then you can kind of set it and forget it. But I wouldn't even recommend that because companies like Google are constantly changing their protocols.
Mm.
I mean, Google, Jeremy, are you familiar with GA4 compliance? Like they just
I've heard of
changed
it.
that
Hmm.
and it's really rigorous and there's a lot that needed to be done. If you didn't do it correctly, you lost all your data. You don't track any data. You can go into Looker Studio, Google Analytics, and you're not going to find your data there.
Mm.
So there it again, I implore people to, if you're doing this as a business, if you're doing this as a hobby, you're doing some side gig and you're selling some knickknacks on your e-commerce site on the side, have at it. Good luck. Enjoy. You're
Yeah.
spending $300 a month of your hobby money, go for it. You're spending 3,000 or more, get subject matter expertise help. Um, that $12,000 a year to invest $24,000 will go three times further than spending $36,000 on your own. The $24,000 will go three times further than spending that $36,000 on your own. You could actually lose money. You could waste that 36K if you're not doing the right things.
Yeah.
And there's
Let's
other things like, for example, knowledge can be so empowering. There's insurances that you can purchase so that if you are doing pay per click and there's bot traffic that's using your clicks, you can get refunded and your money back and reimbursed for that bot traffic, as an example, if you know what you're doing with Google, as an
yeah.
example.
All right. Last one in less than a minute. This is the common one we get. This is from Amy. What's the difference between hiring an agency and hiring employees? I think she means related to a marketing agency or a
Yeah, I
firm.
think it means basically in-house versus hiring an agency. In-house is
Yeah.
expensive and
Yeah.
it's time consuming. And I think the biggest challenge is redundancy and turnover.
Mhm.
So having redundant positions when someone's not available, and also turnover. If you're working with a larger agency like ours that's been around the block for 25 years, we've gone through the hiccups, we've gone through the turmoil, we've gone through ups and downs. We have the ecosystem, we have the redundancy, we have the infrastructure. It's not something you need to put together. We have the people, we know how to get it done, and we can get it done the first time. And we've done it before. It's like you want to go out and play around a golf the third time and do it by yourself, or would you rather have Tiger Woods go play it around for you? I mean, if it was for a competition, I would rather have Tiger Woods go play for me. I think I would have a better chance of winning. So same
Yeah,
theory, have a team of people that can go out there and do the job for you that have done it before, and you're gonna have better success.
makes sense. We're at the 9:30 mark, so that'll wrap up our Q&A. Well, at least me asking Chevy the pre-submitted questions, but
Yeah, so let me go ahead and
um,
just jump right into flipping the script on you,
yeah,
Jeremy. So I had mentioned for our audience tonight that I was gonna try to go a little overtime in anticipation of future shows going super late. Um, but we're just gonna tease it a little bit, and Jeremy's gonna be my first case study here. So first thing, Jeremy, just give me a minute hot take on, your company and you and how you get started and what you do.
yeah. So Synergy Reach is a lead generation marketing agency. We're based in Rockville, East Coast of the United States. We specialize both in one-to-one sales conversations via LinkedIn to convert, you know, the ICPs of companies into the ICPs of a given company into a booked call. We utilize avenues like LinkedIn, Facebook for that, and we have international sales personnel for that. What makes us a bit different is that we do handle the training side of things. So a big issue a lot of companies run into is they get these sales personnel and they're kind of lost as to what direction to take things. By understanding the clients we're working with and their systems and their company culture, their brand message, their goals, we're able to communicate that with the personnel and deliver on more book calls and um, more attention in the online space. Other things we also provide are advertising services, but we only recommend this route for companies that again understand their ICP, they know what direction they want to head with their marketing. Um, and when it comes to the ad platforms we do utilize, it's both Google and Facebook. Um, and Another thing we do offer is consulting services to our clients related to their marketing approaches and making sure to optimize their marketing plans as best as possible.
So tell me about the most common problem that your clients face, Jeremy, that you successfully help them solve.
Yeah. The most common problem I'd say is that we help them solve the right channel. So the biggest problem I always hear is either, oh, we've been marketing using this mechanism for ages and we're not getting anywhere. Well, it's the wrong platform. It's not uncommon for some certain businesses to utilize Facebook when their B2B approach would be best on LinkedIn using a tool like Sales Navigator on there. Sometimes, people think Google Ads is the end all be all, but I tell them, hey, based on your budget, based on your goals, you should be on Facebook. So the marketing avenue is the biggest thing that we like first off the bat that we do tend to correct. Another one that we tend to correct is the ICP problem because people don't understand who their target audience is. Um, and without that understanding, like you talked about, I mean, you're either
For people
talking
who
to the
don't
wrong
know, can you
crowd,
tell them what the ICP means?
ideal client profile. So who is your buyer essentially. This could be what are their needs. This could also include psychographics, right? How do they think about their problems and um, what experiences do they tend to go through? It's important to get clear on that. That way, in your messaging, you're speaking to pain points. You're speaking to essentially, you're speaking in a way where they're like, this person, this company knows me so well. And when they get the feeling that when they get a feeling that you know them so well, the likelihood of them booking that call, the likelihood of them, hearing out that offer skyrockets and it increases. Another thing we do also help with is assets. So whether we help them build the asset or, you know, we coach them on, hey, put together this video landing page, put together this PDF, put together this infographic. There needs to be assets that can be shared in those conversations, right? So if we are handling LinkedIn communication, we need to have more things than just words to share with the customer. What about case studies? What about videos? What about, you know, testimonials? There has to be different dynamic things that we can follow up with to help stand out because the online space is just getting noisier. And if you're not standing out, it's really difficult to um,
Yeah.
really make noise. It's really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to make noise, you have to be consistent, you have to be present. And yeah, that's exactly what Marstudio is trying to do. And that's what people need to do if they wanna survive. Having said that, Jeremy, tell me what your thoughts are, and how you balance, or do you not balance, or do you lean more one way versus the other? Um, how much should a company sit back and wait for someone to come to them and put their brand out there and put their services out there and wait for the to be approached
Mm.
versus how them doing the approaching? How much
Good question.
solicitation should a company do versus baiting?
Yeah. I'm a fan of both, strongly a fan of both. With baiting, you have to have systems to bait them into. So is it is it your advertising system? Is it your content system? You have to have something that stands out, speaks to them, that brings in the lead flow. And but even before the lead flow comes in, I totally agree with what you said earlier in the webinar, is that well, you have to establish other parts of the faucet first before that lead flow starts to come in. Because if it comes in and you haven't established the other sides of the faucet, well, you're gonna say marketing doesn't work, which is a common thing you may hear. It's like marketing doesn't work. It's like, well, you got to ask more questions. What did you do before marketing? Um, So I'm a fan of both. You have to have systems that attract, but I'm also a fan of going out there and making yourself known because if you have systems that brand yourself well and you're making yourself known out to, said potential customer, what are they going to do? They're not going to just be like, okay, let's hop on a call. Well, they're going to go on Google, they may go on YouTube, they may go on your Facebook page. They want to know, okay, what are you guys all about? By having some sort of online presence, by being on LinkedIn Avenue, um, you know, Facebook Boulevard, all these boulevards, when they look you up, there's social proof. There's something there tangibly for them to be like, okay, let's do something here. So I'm definitely a fan of both. Now I will say this: some companies get to a point where they are so well known, and these are big brands. They're so well known that they don't really need solicitation marketing, right? They got to a point where the name itself, people are like, "Oh, I know what you're talking about." But if you're, you know, an SME and you're trying to increase yearly revenue, do both approaches. Be loud in the marketplace and create things that attract that attention without the effort as well, because that scales very well
Yeah,
at the same time.
companies recognize the benefit of still doing brand awareness. I mean, everybody knows who McDonald's is, everybody knows every item on the menu, but they're still doing brand
Mm,
awareness to remind you to go back there and get a bite to eat.
mm,
I think I like to initially take a simpler approach to the whole solicitation versus attraction marketing, which is that it's the difference between a pay-per-click ad, a search ad versus a display ad.
mm.
Display ad is almost like soliciting. The
Yeah.
pay-per-click is, you and the distinction I like to make is your product, service, or commodity that you're offering known? Is it a
Mm,
known commodity or is it unknown?
mhm,
I believe if what you're offering is known, then solicitation marketing isn't as significant. And not in all cases, but
mm,
in more situations than not. Why? Because Jeremy, if you and I need someone to paint our house, we know that that's a service that exists. We're gonna search for it, and we can find someone that's offering that service. If I want a landscaper, if I want a place to get a haircut, if I want to buy a product, if I know about the product, then if I search for it, I can find a place that has that product. So being prepared to be present when asked for makes sense.
yeah.
But let's say you have a gizmo that does something that no one knows exists. Well, how do I know to search for it in
If it
order to find that product?
exactly.
And that's, like if Marstudio has an offer, this webinar offer, this event offer, if we're not marketing it, Sam can have his event next month,
Mhm.
and I can continue to, have these weekly events, daily events, right? I can sit here with Jeremy every single night for the rest of the month. And it could be me and you just making some amazing content. But if nobody knows about it, how are they gonna show up?
Yeah.
So we have to advertise and market our offerings when no one knows what it is that we offer and no one's
Absolutely.
aware of our offering.
There's companies all the time doing very well just because their marketing is very well done. But these are the same companies that, like, take two companies. One has an amazing product, the other one has an okay product. But the other company ends up out being the first one just based off sound marketing principles and branding principles. Um, so I think that's a huge thing that's forgotten. Um, is just how much of a difference maker a really good marketing process can be. That's why with us, even really quick, um, we do our outreach, right, for our own agency, right, for client acquisition, but we also have our own mechanisms. There are times where we test out short form content to put on various social media platforms to grow recognition. My business partner has his podcast, right, where he interviews business owners, and we even have our own, networking events here and there that add to our network. And what happens is it grows, as our connections grow, we put some content out there. They're like, oh, I remember that guy, and then those conversations can start up again. um, and it's kind of like the attraction marketing as we talked about. But then our outreach, whether it's our salespeople, um, our outreach is what gets those new people that are like, who is this, who what's synergy reach at exactly. um, and because we know what our messaging is, we can communicate that to them in order to get that call, and to see if we're fit for said business.
I know we're coming up on our time, but there was two more questions I wanted to ask you. Maybe we could do some a rapid fire on them.
Mhm.
I wanna see if I can contribute a little bit to the conversation. Um, when it comes to I'm gonna start with your clients. When it comes to your clients, what's a
Mhm.
problem you feel they struggle with that you would have a better solution for? Do you have a situation like that? Is there something just recent or in the past
Mm.
that maybe you've dealt with or has come up or comes up and you're like, man, I wish I had a solution for that, or I wish I had a way around that? Do you have a problem that
Yeah.
you aren't able to easily solve for your clients that comes up?
That's a very, very good question. Um, give me a couple seconds actually. That's actually a really good
Yeah,
question.
while you're pondering that, I can give you a two prong, and we can do both or we can do one of them.
Yeah.
The other question that I had for you was, what's a marketing question or problem that Synergy Reach as a company has,
Hmm.
that you might want to explore?
Yeah.
Either one of those. Are either need or problem that exist that you
Yeah,
want that you
I'll
want to
probably
address?
answer the marketing need kind of side of things. Um, I think with us, we have like multiple kind of ICPs, kind of that we kind of target, and in recent times we kind of narrowed it down. Um, but I think the biggest question would be, how would we branch out aside from just LinkedIn, like, messaging? Um, what are other ways for us to market to these ICPs aside from, because it's B2B, right? Aside from LinkedIn messaging, posting, things like that. What other platforms are almost just as good to market on? I know that may be kind of a loaded question, but if you need clarification, I can get more clear if you need that.
Yeah, no. Are you specifically looking to social media platforms?
Yeah, but if because our weakest point is offline. That's probably our weakest point. So we could take the conversation there. But
You know,
I
if
am
I
mainly
was
talking
if yeah,
social
if I
media.
was gonna try something in your space,
Mm.
and you're having success on LinkedIn, it could work. I would attempt to form a group on Facebook.
Mm. I like that you brought that up because I had that idea, but I did not execute on that like a year or two ago. So I like
Yeah,
that you brought that up.
I would consider forming a group on Facebook and make the group, more, I want to say professional, but I also want to say friendly,
Hmm.
like a social professional ecosystem,
Hmm.
like maybe a CEO sales social page. Like, hey,
No, yeah,
you wanna grab a beer and talk sales? Like, this is the page for you.
yeah.
Um, like like sales and beer,
Hmm.
like almost
I
like
hear you.
almost almost like call the group that sales and beer. I'll start one called marketing and whiskey. I don't know, but I like the idea of potentially creating a more casual ecosystem group on Facebook and trying
Mm,
to pinpoint target specific audiences on Facebook, as far as
mm.
business professionals to then engage said
Yeah,
um, thing. And then, but
that
I
reminds
would
me.
totally keep it on the again the friendly side with
Yes,
having
exactly.
like fun office memes and boss memes that make a CEO or business owner laugh.
Yeah, I like that you bring that up because one thing I've noticed actually was that like a lot of our outreach with LinkedIn, it's more corporate. It's more corporate, like it's more professional, quote unquote. But some of our Facebook conversations I actually find are more lax. Like it's more like talking to a stranger, but then they can be like a acquaintance or a friend.
Yeah.
Um, so I find that Facebook is definitely a really great platform for the more of those Lex kind of conversations, and a group that's like that, I think would make a lot of sense. I do want if we, which I think I definitely know we'll execute on this. Um, I definitely want it to have that to let it be known that it is more of a lighthearted, but still valuable group when people join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I'd maybe even look outside the, think outside the box. And I think there's probably some really good organizations out there that are up and coming that maybe have some followings or groups or numbers. Um, I wouldn't here's something for you and also our audience. As far as digital marketplaces, um, I think we oftentimes forget and ignore directories. It's a
Whoa, is
very
this 2001?
yeah, dude, it is 2001. It's such a simple thing that people forget about. And especially in the 21st century, digital directories, I think, are more powerful because what you want to essentially do is you want to search for, marketplace directories, sales directories, right? A list of sales directories, a list of business directories, and enter your business credentials in there.
Mhm.
Put your name, business name in there. Put who you are. Put the point of contact. Put the point of contact's name, position, and title, and phone number, and email. Because look, if I'm interested or in your service or product, some people are just going to go search. And a lot of times, how many times, Jeremy, have you done a search and you got a directory and not the contact? And then
Yeah.
whether it was for an attorney, a plumber, and
Mhm.
yes, they're directories. Go ahead and do a search right now. And I ask everyone listening to this, if you're a business owner, go into Google right now and search your industry name, whatever it is you do, sales, marketing, plumbing, HVAC, hair salon, hair color, tile, carpet, food and beverage, Peruvian chicken, catering. Search that and the word directory, and you're
Mhm.
gonna find a laundry list of Angie's lists of companies and organizations that will promote you. There's even here's a kicker. You guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? There's even companies that you can pay that will submit you to said directories for a fee. If you
Yep.
don't want to go, and there's like, it's silly. Like one of these companies will submit your name to over like 500 digital directories. Is it good? Will
Perfect.
you get spammed? Is it bad? Be smart. Go and get an email that says, contact at synergy.reach.com. Go get an email that says info@synergyreach.com. Make it a junk mail email or directory. Engage. That's what we use. Marstudio as kind of uses the term engage. We have engage at marstudio.com. Create a word, a term that and tie it to those directories. Info 411 at synergyreach.com. You know that anytime someone emails 411 at synergyreach.com, it's from coming from one of those directory ecosystems. It becomes its own campaign.
Yeah.
Hire 2 3 people to submit your name to all these content. And there's some directory companies, most of them, it's free to be a part of the directory. They have free offers, free channels. And then some of these companies, you can pay extra to, and then you'll be a preferred member. You'll be listed higher on the directory. You'll be given a gold bar.
Mm.
You don't have to do that. You can do that. You can find, if there could be industry directories or associations that are, paramount for you. Let's say you're an attorney. Obviously, if there's an ABA, American Bar Association, Women's Bar Association directory. So there are professional directories that make a lot of sense for
Mhm.
industries, sales, marketing, etc. So
Yeah.
again,
I think that'll be great for our kind of attraction marketing side of things for sure.
Yeah, people
I don't
people
think that.
forget old school stuff, but old school stuff has new school reinventions of the old school man. Like I said, we started with, and this is perfect way to end it. We started with, hey, what kind of offline channels can I use? And I was talking about a direct mail piece that goes on, online, like
Mhm,
offline to online. And here we're talking about, taking something as historic as direct mail, directories and,
mhm,
modernizing the use of them and getting your name out there. Hey, if I'm a
yep,
new business or an old business and I want to make sure I have digital tentacles, why wouldn't I want to have my links? Talk
mhm,
about legitimate backlinks. You now
mhm.
have 400 links from directories to your website.
Website, yeah,
So, no
simple,
brainer.
simple
Yeah.
as that. Love it.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
We're top of the hour. Jeremy, thank you
Yeah,
for playing along. And I'll you and Sam, and can we throw that up there one more time?
yeah,
If
definitely.
we can,
I'll go ahead
exclusive
and
webinar offer, one-on-one session with me, and we're gonna throw that up there. Scan code if you're watching
yep,
this and you stuck around. Thank
yes,
you, and here's our appreciation thing. So
yep.
Jeremy's gonna share
Kind
that.
of
There's a
loading.
scan code, and then after he puts that up on the screen for a hot minute, we're gonna just plug in Sammy one more time. Sam is going to be doing next month's session. We might do some bonus sessions between now and next month. We might do a couple more late night sessions, but how to make your brand message resonate, a 7-step framework, Thursday,
Hmm.
September 12th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Marstudio's founder, someone Rowan Tan, our chief creative officer and founder. All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Again,
Yep.
appreciate the back and forth, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Everyone, guys.